Think twice before you go wishing for wedding bells in Westeros. As if we hadn't learned this lesson from House of the Dragon's predecessor, Game of Thrones. Do Corlys and Rhaenys have the only healthy marriage in Westeros? There isn't much competition as far as the first season of House of the Dragon goes. Let's begin where this episode did. Come on, Rhae. You see your husband, whom you share only a mutual hatred of each other with, alone along the road with no baggage, no horse, and in full supervillain pose, and you didn't even consider how this might not be the best time for insults? To be fair, it wouldn't have mattered. Rhae's blood is on Daemon's hands, but her death was ensured when Viserys sent him back to her. He used her like the old ball and chain saying, attempting to clamp her to Daemon's ankle and imprison him in the Vale. Having none of it, we meet Rhae for 2 minutes before she's quickly dispatched so Daemon can put himself back on the market for a wife. She was doing a lot of talking before realizing too late why he was there. Always remember, if you're slinging a lot of insults and the other person isn't responding, they probably know something you don't. As an aside, Rhae herself isn't unattractive. Understandably, she's not Daemon's taste, as he prefers blondes, but comparing her to Sheep wasn't fair. Alicent's marriage, while not filled with hate, wasn't one of her choosing. While she does care for Viserys, as he cares for her, Alicent performs the duties of her marriage because it's expected of her. In Westeros, this type of marriage might be the best you can hope for. Her father was correct about her though. Alicent does act somewhat like Viserys. She refuses to accept her children will become enemies of Rhaenyra if she ascends to the throne. Alicent, like Viserys, doesn't want to see or accept the truth right in front of them. However, after a few fateful conversations, she does finally understand the position she's in. More so, not only herself, but her children. This burns her to finally act in a manner that will turn her fully against Rhaenyra, which leads to my favorite line of the episode. Alicent makes her grand entrance to the event. Her gown is a not so subtle warning that she's chosen a side and is ready to fight for it. When she reaches her seat next to Viserys, she stops and speaks to Rhaenyra. Congratulations, stepdaughter. What a blessing this is for you. The look on Rhaenyra's face said it all. Alicent in this one line said everything she needed to say. She reminded Rhaenyra of her place. She's queen and her father's wife. She let her know that she and her children won't be so easily set aside. Also, the part about it being a blessing sets up this seesaw effect where what's good for Rhaenyra politically is generally bad for Alicent and vice versa. They both understand this, and it will be very intriguing to watch Alicent now act with the same intentions her father did while he was in King's Landing. Alicent does save Sir Criston Cole's life. After beating Joffrey Larmouth to a pulp and striking Lenore, Criston Cole is ready to end his life. This poor guy. I said he was in a bad situation the second Rhaenyra gave him those googly eyes that one fateful night. First off, he should have let Alicent speak her mind fully before interjecting with the confession she wasn't looking for. Wait until she asks you a question, Criston. However, he's stricken with guilt. On one hand, Sir Criston Cole is devoutly tied to his vows to the Kingsguard, so much so that he's broken inside by having broken those vows. Making the guilt he's feeling even worse is that Rhaenyra wants him only as a paramour, a lover on the side while she takes a proper husband fitting her station. When he confessed to Alicent in her chambers to his night with Rhaenyra, he thought his life was over. He made a plea not to spare his life, but only to spare him from being gelded and tortured. He only asked for the mercy of being quickly executed. As an aside, I really like this for Alicent's character. She wasn't expecting this admission. She was looking for the truth about what happened between Rhaenyra and Daemon. Caught off guard by Criston's confession, she shows sympathy for him, simply letting him go without punishment. His honesty and guilt were enough for her. This is who Alicent wants to be, a compassionate woman who's slow to the sword, as it were. Alicent also understands the benefit of making friends, especially ones whom she's spared from gelding. She knows she's going to need allies. She knows she's going to need allies against Rhaenyra, and knowing her secrets puts her in an advantageous position. Rhaenyra doesn't understand this. She's going to need allies as well, and an example of this is her pointless needling of Jason Lannister. Sure, he made a bad joke. He's not someone she would want to marry nor spend much time around. However, he sure would make a great ally if she goes to war for the throne. Circling back to Criston Cole, after his exploits at the party, he is ready to end himself before Alicent stops him. Again, he won't forget who was there in his lowest moment. Now, on the other hand, Sir Criston Cole was ready to forsake his vows to the Kingsguard and run off to Essos with Rhaenyra. So which is it? Something to note. In the episode, Alicent coming upon Sir Criston Cole near the weirwood tree is edited together with the marriage of a dismayed Rhaenyra and a heartbroken Lenore, of which Alicent is in attendance. I suspect one just happens before the other. Most likely the marriage takes place second, wherein which after Viserys' collapse she stays with him. That being said, Criston really did screw things up for Rhaenyra. She had the whole arrangement set up with Lenore, then her paramour goes and kills his paramour. He was devastated. The look on Rhaenyra's face while standing in front of him was brutal. At one point they're supposed to kiss and he turns away and she kisses him on the cheek. It was so sad. Speaking of these two, when their match was being made on Driftmark, walking along the beach, they seemed to be building the foundation for a healthy relationship. They both accepted they were going to get married because it was what their fathers, houses, and the realm expected of them. They would do their duty, meaning make heirs, but they would allow themselves to seek out and live their lives on their own terms outside of their marriage. Think about their lives if they didn't have this not so blunt but honest conversation. Rhaenyra would enter into a marriage with a man who she knows is gay, possibly never again truly experiencing the passion, romance, and love of a man who wants her. For Lenore, he'd be married to a woman entrapped in living a life he doesn't want, having who he truly is denied to him. Both of them, to not dishonor the other, would live lives of quiet desperation, good to each other but lonely. Instead, one conversation in their marriage could have been wonderful for them both, allowing them to treat each other well and not feel they're missing parts of their lives in order to bear the responsibilities of their families. This is a fitting farewell episode for Millie Alcock. It's likely the time jump will happen at the beginning of the next episode, so we may not see much of her, if any of her at all, in episode 6. Millie was a fantastic Rhaenyra. I want her to win an Emmy for her performance. She had a large role in the success of House of the Dragon, and it's a shame that we only got 5 episodes with her. If other people agree, which I believe a lot of House of the Dragon fans will, Millie Alcock's Rhaenyra will be remembered much like Khal Drogo. Jason Momoa was only on Game of Thrones for 1 season, but made such an impact that when fans of the series look back, they include him as if he were there for the entire run. We've fallen in love with this Rhaenyra, and her shoes will be large, if not impossible, to fill. Next up is Emma Darcy. She has the unenviable task of replacing an actress that was already shining in her role. While we understand why and we will give her leeway, the character in many fans' minds has already been defined by Millie Alcock. There are a couple other actor changes coming as well. Alicent's actress and Lenore's actor will also be replaced. This is ambitious and not normally done. I truly hope we don't watch the next episode of House of the Dragon and feel like something is missing. I have a feeling some fans might. What did you think of this week's episode of House of the Dragon? Let me know in the comments below.